So I've had a few people comment on some of my videos asking to see a top 10 list for PlayStation 3 games. So I've gone through my collection. I've got about, I think it's about 110 PlayStation 3 games in my collection. So I picked out my top 10 because basically people wanting to see it. So coming at number 10 is the Beatles Rock Band. Now I am a massive Beatles fan. I've always have been, and to see a Rock Band Beatle game was something that I never expected to see happen at all. It's got all the classic songs on there, and this was the only reason I got into the Rock Band series. I never played any of those games before until this was announced. I remember watching the trailer, just loving it, and it's so cool to go back and actually be able to, pretend or kind of play the Beatles tracks. It was so cool. So I really love that game. It's great. And also I remember hearing at one stage that U2 were looking at doing the same thing, but I don't know what happened with that. It just must have fell apart. Coming at number 9, this is a really great game, Infamous, where you can play dark or light depending on the choices you make in this game. This was amazing. For me, this came out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about the Infamous game before this, and I had a mate that I used to work with told me about this game, and when I got it, I was hooked on the series, and this was so great. The anti-hero or the hero, whatever you want to play as, and every action has a consequence to it. It was really cool. I think I played through it as the good guy. I need to go back and play it as the bad guy. It was so cool. Now, I've always been a fan of the GTA series, except for GTA 4. I never enjoyed that. I just couldn't get my head around playing a Russian immigrant going to America. It just, for me, it wasn't what I wanted. And luckily for Rockstar Games, they released the episodes from Liberty City, which is a lot better than the actual game itself. I felt right at home here playing, American characters, which is something that I was so used to in this series, and that's a really cool game as far as I'm concerned. So coming at number 7 is actually a PlayStation Move game. I picked up the Move for like $5 at EB Games a few years ago. So I started collecting Move games, and Medieval Move, this is so cool. It uses a PlayStation Move really well, and I just love the story of this and playing as the character. I do have a few other Move games. I just haven't had the chance to play the other games, but this was so cool, and that's why I thought I needed to include at least one PlayStation Move game in my top 10, and it really is a great game. Coming at number 6, now here's another great series that was on the PlayStation 3. I think there was like 7 games in the series. It's really hard to find which one is my favorite game, but I think A Crack in Time, Ratchet & Clank, stands out for me. This was a great game. I could go back and look at all the other games, and it doesn't matter which one. They all are fantastic games, and I played this so much. And this is the actual Chinese English version, which I got from, I think it was Play Asia. I would love to see more games in the Ratchet & Clank series remastered, remade for the PlayStation 4, like what they did with the Ratchet & Clank tie-in with the movie. Coming at number 5, this game to me was a bit of a hidden gem when it first came out. It wasn't until word of mouth, magazines, probably the internet as well, that this game gained popularity, and that is Drake's Fortune. The Uncharted series has gone on to do a lot of bigger and better things, but this game was phenomenal from when it first came out, and I just loved the way the character interaction together. Nolan North, I can't think of anybody else to play Nathan Drake. Honestly, he embodied that character so much, and there's so much of Nolan in this character, and it's a great game. And back then I think I was playing a lot of the Call of Duty Battlefield games. They were really kind of gritty games, with the color palette and the environments. And along comes this game. It's got lush green environments, and it was so cool. And the gunplay was great. But it was the story and the characters that really hooked me on this series. And I know people I used to work with who were Xbox fanboys, and you show them this, all of a sudden they were turned into Sony fans as well with this game. It's so cool. Coming at number 4, the first Assassin's Creed game. I remember seeing the trailer to this at one of the E3s. I was so intrigued by this game, and playing as Altair, he's probably my favorite character out of the whole series, and he was only in one game. Next game we got Ezio. He played in a few of the other games to follow, but I always loved the Altair character, set in Damascus and all the biblical cities. Get that out again, biblical cities. It's so cool, and it's it is my favorite Assassin's Creed. Also, I think Origins is up there as well. Okay, we're counting down to our top 3 now. It's really hard to know what is behind here. There's a lot of stuff. I will be doing a collections video next for this month's schedule. Coming at number 3, Fallout New Vegas. Again, somebody I worked with years ago got me onto this series. This was the first one I played. I did go back and play Fallout 3. I did love New Vegas. I love the story in this, where you wake up in a grave, half dead. And it was so cool. You can play as a male or female character. So one of my mates also told me, make sure you play as the female character, because she has a Black Widow perk and all this other stuff. And I did, and it was really cool to play this game and just experience it. And this is the American copy. I don't know. I don't think they did any download content for this game, but it is so cool. Do you think we could ever see this game remastered? I would love to see that happen. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite games. Also got this in the collector's edition, which is really cool. So coming in at number 2 is Metal Gear Solid 4. This was the last time we saw David Hayter voice Snake. I mean, in this game, his voice is, the way he portrays the voice is a lot older than what we've played before, and it did take me a bit of time to get used to hearing that gritty voice of Snake. But this was an amazing game, and the only thing that let down this game for me was the fight at the end of the game, which is pretty basic, but it's a cool series this was. And yeah, it's I don't think we're going to see this kind of game again. It's a shame. The fallout between Konami and Kojima is, we all know about that. And Kojima just, the way he thinks is Hollywood movies, and the way he does these games is just fantastic. Now, coming in at number 1, what could it be? There's only one game it can be. Uncharted Among Thieves. This was the perfect Uncharted game as far as I was concerned. I remember just watching at the E3 where there's that small trailer where Nathan wakes up. He's covered in blood, and he looks out the window, and all of a sudden things start falling down, and then he realizes he's dangling off of a cliff or whatever, and he gets thrown to the back of the carriage and is left dangling off of it. And that's all I needed to see to get me really excited about this game. The characters in this game, the wit in this game, just what Naughty Dog was able to achieve with this game. They were using the CPU to do things on this game, and it played out like a Hollywood blockbuster. It was actually better than a lot of the Hollywood blockbusters released that year. But this game is, to me, pretty much the perfect game. It's so cool. you know, just great stuff like having a fight in a building as it's collapsing. That was insane. I remember there's so many cool moments in this game, but that's why it's my number one. It's just phenomenal. If you haven't played it, you need to. Trust me, it's that great. So that's it. That's my top 10 PlayStation 3 games of all time. If there's something that you think that should be in this collection, or tell me what your top 10 games are so I can compare. Like I said, I'll be doing a video on my PlayStation 3 collection, so you can see the other games in this collection, but this one to me is it's amazing. So hey guys, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.